Previously on Vikings, beaches, not just your spring break destination anymore.
Hi, I'm Abby Murphy, Assistant Photo Editor at the Tower Light.
And I'm Daryllee Hale, Associate Arts and Life Editor. And we are here to bring you a review of episode 4 of Vikings. So whether you're a fan of the show or a newcomer, you should really get on this boat because it's going places.
Oh yes it is.
So basically this episode starts out where the last one left off in Northumbria. And we start to see the effects of what they've learned about raiding Christians.
Yes, Ragnar is quite the clever one, and he hears that, what day is it? It's a Saturday. He says, we're going to wait till tomorrow to do a raid, because he's learned a few things from, the resident monk, Athelstan, that Sunday's a good day to go raiding because everybody's in church.
And this is where you see a lot about he's willing to take advantage of their religion, and this is kind of what I've noticed about the tensions between religions coming to a head. So I really like that. This was the boiling point of the whole religious tension.
Yeah, he's willing to exploit that religion rather than see it as something sacred like the priest does. Well, he obviously doesn't think much of that as he proceeds to kill him later.
And he really takes advantage of their vulnerability to their religion, and you can tell that the Saxons really find that surprising and it catches them off guard because within their nations it's something sacred, something you wouldn't do, and the way they just walk all over that is totally new to them.
It's totally foreign, and that's why the king is so floored by how effective they are in battle and everything, and that they're willing to go where no one's gone before.
And the interesting thing is to see this from the Vikings' perspective, since we're so used to such a Saxon-centric kind of history. So it was really interesting to see that.
First of all, Lagartha, this episode, just awesome. I mean, in general, she's always been a cool character, but in this episode, she's a little bit of not the center of attention, but she's definitely a pivotal point in the episode, considering the episode centers around the trial of Ragnar.
Yes, the trial of Ragnar that's caused by a lot of drama around Miss Lagartha.
Knut out with...
Yeah, he steps out of his bounds, it kind of... Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it because it's one of those things that you just have to see, because the scene with Lagartha and Canute is just, it speaks for itself.
Yeah, it's a very intense scene. Just it's very interesting to see, in this society. It's like these Vikings. Canute decides that, hey, I'm gonna go, raping and pillaging, be typical as we think of Vikings. And Lagartha's like, hey, don't do that. And then he decides, oh, maybe I'll try it on you. That's a great idea. Spoiler alert, it's not.
So basically, back to the trial, that causes a heck of a lot of tension between brothers.
Yeah, a lot of brothers this episode. Apparently Canute was the brother of the Earl, his father's bastard, so they're brothers, and he's like, hey, Ragnar killed my brother, so what should we do to him?
And it's very interesting to see how Rollo and his relations with Ragnar plays out, because their relationship is called into question. But
yeah, definitely, I was on the edge of my seat. This whole episode, I was like, I believed in you, and you were saying I didn't believe in him, but
I didn't. But he came through. Bro code, bros before hoes.
Oh yeah, good job. I was really happy that
Rollo.
Rollo's been a very interesting character. I haven't been the hugest fan of him, but he pulled through here for his brother, although there is some sort of debt to collect, which may be kind of ominous.
Yeah, at the beginning of this episode, I posed the question to myself, is Rollo a soulless fiend? And that was my question that I was determined to answer throughout the episode. And my answer fluctuated. I was going back and forth. So, yeah. Talking about, the battle going on in the home front with Athelstan and the children. That's another thing.
That's kind of nice. It was ironically kind of comedic, this episode. There was so much going on. I'm still my mind's racing. There were so many things that happened. But it was kind of nice to go back to the home front and just see Bjorn being kind of a bit of a rebellious teen.
Angst.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all these names of all the characters I know, of course, from George Blackman's Twitter.
Bless you.
Other characters who stood out to me in this episode, Floki was fabulous as usual.
Yeah, he didn't have any specific, big parts, but he definitely stood out every scene he was in.
Maintained fabulosity.
Definitely.
Yeah. And at the end, when they were all celebrating that Ragnar didn't get, killed, I can't tell if Floki drunk or just being Floki.
Yeah, it's difficult to tell with him. And then Athelstan kind of got to see kind of the camaraderie of the Vikings and got to drink with them.
Yeah. And then to talk about the ending, I think that Athelstan's kind of mental connection with what Ragnar was doing going on while the prophet
and the Earl.
Is guiding the Earl was really interesting.
The contrast of faiths here, because Athelstan in this episode was really questioning his faith, which we could definitely see is going to play in later into his whole plot line. And then we have the Earl saying the same thing to the prophet, do the gods exist? And it was really powerful, and I freaked out. Yeah, you could almost see Athelstan's loyalty shifting to Ragnar. Yeah, he's definitely, kind of questioning his God, and, why is he here with these heathens, and hopefully he'll find his purpose. Yeah. Looking forward, there will be blood. Oh, yes, lots of it. Gosh, yeah, this episode. I have a strong feeling things are going to get worse before they get better. Just a little bit. I mean, Ragnar is apparently preparing himself, as Athelstan said. Intense last line. Very intense. Really makes you think. Yeah, the noggin. Yeah, I can't wait till next week. And so, overall, this week's episode definitely a solid A+. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, you're going to want to watch and you're not going to want it to end. No, not at all. So basically, things escalated very quickly this episode. I see them continuing to escalate, and I'm really interested to see where it's going to go. I don't know how they managed to fit more and more into each episode. I'm floored, every single one. There's always more content. It's intense. What do you think? Is it keeping your interest? What do you want to see? Any particular plots that you're the most interested in? Yeah, so let us know. Keep watching. We will be. Yeah. And for the Tower Light, we'll see you next week.